What was supposed to be Grappling's sun-drenched blockbuster, Craig Jones Invitational 2, is now spiraling in real time. $800,000, gone, evaporated like morning mist over the Amazon. Gable Steveson, the human freight train, limps out with a toe swollen to the size of a small coconut. And before the echo fades, Chael Sonnen, yes, the American gangster himself, offers to fight Craig for free as long as the crowd showers him with loose change like it's the Coliseum. It's that wild. Stay with me. This is the story of how the sequel to last year's fairy tale event turned into the loudest alarm bell our sport has ever heard. The $800,000 bomb. Picture last year for a second. Lights blazing, mats packed shoulder to shoulder, charity buckets overflowing, history in the air. Fast forward 12 months. Craig steps in front of a camera and says, plain as day, we're on track to lose $800,000. That's not a rounding error. That's a beachfront mortgage in Los Angeles. Tickets stalled at about 5,100 of the 6,500 they needed. Broadcast rights? They turned down real money so you could watch for free on YouTube. Noble? Absolutely. Sustainable? Not even close. The same investors who once floated a $2.2 million prize pool trimmed this year's purse to $1 million, and even that's starting to feel like monopoly cash. Gable Steveson bails.
We are 5 days away from CJI 2, and news was officially released that Gable Steveson is pulling out of his match against Craig Jones due to turf toe. This super fight main event was originally announced on April 1st. Yes, April Fool's Day. A lot of people thought it was a prank, but I can promise you that Gable Steveson pulling out is no joke.
Monday morning, August 25th, boom. Stories up, stories gone. Screenshots already viral. Craig Jones, who spent 4 months selling this as jiu-jitsu versus wrestling supremacy, responds with a gif of a dumpster fire. Medical truth? Turf toe can bench you for 3 weeks minimum, so 6 days out is impossible. But here's the kicker. Gable's MMA debut is locked for LFA on September 13th, barely 2 weeks after CJI. Fans slapped those calendars side by side and the chat lit up. Who's getting protected here? Flow Grappling's live feed went from, can Craig heel hook a double leg, to, did the UFC pressure him out? In 17 seconds flat. Narrative flipped from sport to suspicion overnight. Let's talk stakes. CJI sold the super fight as the hook, the $18 million bracket as the meat, the free YouTube stream as the gift. Pull the hook and casuals scroll past. Ticket bundles built around Steveson versus Jones are quietly refunded or shoved into premium experience packages minus the headliner. Financially, the event still has the team tournament and the women's 100K division, so it's not dead in the water. Emotionally, feels like someone yanked the plug on New Year's fireworks at 11:59. Craig made it personal. Never had an opponent bail this close without a car crash video. Sponsors who front-loaded ad spend for crossover eyeballs are renegotiating placement. Even the mat side bar is downgrading its catering order. Credibility is the real casualty. CJI sold itself as the anti-ADCC, the bigger tent. When your headliner vanishes days out, the internet doesn't remember the card stack. It remembers the guy who no-showed. Enter the bad guy.
Grappling Boys wanted me to call you and ask if you would consider stepping in and fighting Craig Jones.
Yeah, of course.
He called me today for saying, hey, you know what should I do? But I didn't take the hint. I didn't take the hint that was the offer.
But you would do it.
Of course.
You already have a win over him. Why would you put that in jeopardy?
I destroyed him.
Yes.
I destroyed John Jones. I'm the linear champion. I'm the one that ripped his toe off and threw it in the second row, in case you don't remember.
I remember.
You tell Craig, was that what he was calling me for today? Was he calling me out? Was this a call out that he disguised as a friendly phone call?
Yes.
You tell Craig Jones, not only do I accept, but I'm pissed off about it.
You know what I did to Gable Steveson? This is a massive step up.
The last time I saw Gable, I put him in a headlock and I gave him a noogie right after I signed a photograph for him. Goodbye, Turkey. I will see you at CGI.
The second the MMA internet finished mourning, Uncle Chael swooped in. Quote, I'll fight Craig Jones tomorrow. Don't need a purse, just pay me in crowd applause and internet clout. 47 years old, 0 high-level grappling matches since his Metamoris cameo, and yet the offer rocketed to the top of Reddit like catnip. Why? Because Chael understands drama better than Netflix ever will. Whether it's a troll or a legit call-out, the mere possibility of the American gangster in a quintet rule set is click magnet material. Ripple effects on the card. This year, CJI scrapped the 8-man bracket and went full-team quintet. 4 squads, submission only, 10-minute rounds. Lose a match and your team shrinks. The Steveson versus Jones superfight was supposed to be the cherry, now it's gone. Meanwhile, the women's bracket still dangles a $100,000 prize. The teams are still competing for $1 million, but the marketing push has deflated like a week-old balloon. Athletes are openly DMing journalists asking if the payouts are still guaranteed. Spoiler, until those ticket numbers climb, nothing is guaranteed. Sales are soft? Let's zoom out for 10 seconds. Google Trends shows worldwide interest in Craig Jones Invitational, sitting at barely 30% of last year's peak. ADCC, CJI's original foil, is on hiatus, so the built-in rivalry storyline evaporated. The UFC allegedly leaned on managers to keep fighters off the card, and without ESPN retweets, the algorithm can't hear you scream. When Craig declined the pay-per-view money, the promotion lost not just revenue, but also the UFC-style hype machine that shoves events down casual throats. Result, hardcores bought tickets weeks ago. Everyone else forgot it was happening. Money talk. The math is ugly. Fixed production costs, athlete flights, that $1 million prize pool, none of it scales down because your headliner ghosted you. Craig's own words, "We might have to sell the mats to a local high school wrestling team just to break even." He's exaggerating, probably. But the fact he's willing to joke about it tells you how bleak the spreadsheets look. Investors from CJI1 are reportedly evaluating options, which is corporate speak for deciding whether to light another 800 grand bonfire next year. Scroll Reddit's RBJJ and you'll find 2 camps. Camp A, Craig's a martyr for keeping it free, respect. Camp B, bro, take the Flow Sports money and live to fight another day. Twitter polls are running 70-30 in favor of Chael actually showing up, mostly because the spectacle of Sonnen getting heel-hooked into oblivion would be meme gold. Instagram comment sections are a war zone between Steveson defenders calling the injury legit and skeptics posting grainy practice room footage claiming he looked fine last Thursday. The discourse is raw, petty, and highly entertaining. The last-minute replacement pool. Craig publicly floated 4 names: Nick Rodriguez, Mason Fowler, Roberto Jimenez, and, because the internet demanded it, Hafthor Bjornsson. Nicky Rod's already on a team, Mason is prepping for ADCC trials, Roberto's nursing a rib issue, and Thor is cutting weight for a boxing match nobody asked for. Behind the scenes, sources say Craig's DMs are a chaos of agents asking for short notice appearance fees that would make your eyes water. The safest bet is an internal shuffle. Bump someone from the quintet teams into the superfight slot and run the teams 1 man short. It's messy, but it keeps the show breathing. What this means for CJI3. If this event hemorrhages the full 800, the next investors meeting will be a PowerPoint titled, "Should we even do this again?" Craig's brand is bulletproof inside the grappling bubble, but bubbles pop. Expect future iterations to pivot. Maybe tiered ticket pricing, maybe a premium stream behind a paywall, maybe a smaller venue with half the prize pool. Conversely, if Chael versus Craig somehow happens and goes viral, the loss becomes marketing spend, and the third event sells out in 10 minutes. High risk, high reward, that's the essence of indie grappling. If you're riding this chaos with me, smash that subscribe button. I'm dropping daily updates until the mats get rolled up. Drop a comment. Who do you want to see replace Gable, Chael, Nicky Rod, or should Craig just heel hook himself for content? The charity angle. Quick reminder, last year CJI raised $500,000 for charity. This year's beneficiary is still on the hook for whatever scraps remain. If 800 grand disappears into the void, that's money that could have funded youth wrestling programs, anti-bullying campaigns, jiu-jitsu scholarships, the works. Craig's adamant the charity check will clear regardless, which means he might be cutting personal checks after the fact. Respect if he does, disaster if he can't. Production nightmares. On-site sources tell me the venue has a strict load-in Friday morning. Every hour of delay costs 4 figures in union labor. Now the graphic department has to scrub Steveson's face off every banner like he's Trotsky in a Soviet photo. Merch guys are sitting on a pallet of Steveson versus Jones shirts that will become very expensive rags. The lighting crew was already stressed trying to illuminate a 5-on-5 mat. Now they're Googling how to light existential dread. All of this trickles down to the athletes who keep asking in the group chat, are we actually getting paid? The answer is yes, but the delay could stretch to 90 days while accountants figure out which kidney to sell. Viewer's guide. Here's what's still locked in. Women's 4-woman bracket kicks us off, then the quintet teams roll. If you're watching free on YouTube, expect 0 ads because there are no ad partners left brave enough to sponsor a sinking ship. Stream starts at 7 p.m. Eastern, undercard at 5:30. If you're flying in, parking is apparently free now. Management quietly dropped the fee to squeeze every last body through the turnstiles. Bring cash for concessions. Rumor has it the card reader company paused service over unpaid invoices. Craig's reputation. Hardcores respect Craig for betting the farm on spectacle. Casuals just see an Aussie who promised them Superman and delivered Clark Kent with a limp. The irony? Craig's actual grappling hasn't slipped 1 inch. He's still the most dangerous no-gi player alive. But promoter Craig and athlete Craig are 2 different skill sets. And right now, promoter Craig is learning the hard way that the house always wins, unless you own the house. Could the loss actually be bigger? 800 grand is the public number based on ticket gaps and expenses already locked in. If replacements demand last-minute flights and hotel suites, that number climbs. If the live stream crashes because the CDN bill didn't get paid, add another 50. If merchandise sales underperform, tack on more. Worst-case insiders whisper the red ink could crest $1 million once the accountants close the books. That would make CJI 2 one of the most expensive grappling events ever run, and not in a cool, record-smashing way. So, will Craig Jones bet the farm again next year? Or is this the end of the road? Should Chael actually suit up? And who's your dream replacement for Gable? Hit me with your hottest takes below, and if you want round-the-clock updates before Saturday, turn on notifications. I'll see you on the mats. Figuratively, because my toe is perfectly fine.